If I can feel these blisters, I'm alive, which means I'm not dead, which means I can manipulate, I can win. And that was the turning point in my life. I raised my hand to myself and to God, and I said, from this moment on, I will never quit, and I'll give everything my best shot.
How long did you live with her?
Until I was rescued at age 12. And it was
arrested?
Pardon me, rescued.
Rescued
at age 12 by 4 teachers, a nurse and a principal, who put their careers on the line at the time, because we didn't have penal codes that we have now to protect children or to protect those trying to protect children. So it was a very dramatic...
He took you away from the house?
Immediately.
And what did your father say?
My father was separated from my mom at the time.
That the brothers remained?
Yes, which was unfortunate, because I remember going to my social worker and saying, hey, if you're going to rescue me, you have to take care of my brothers. But because of the, I think at age 12 I weighed 68 pounds, 68, 70 pounds. My case was rather gratuitous, and the social workers were saying, hey, we'll take care of you, let's see what happens next, but let's take care of you now, which wasn't fair to my brothers who had to, of course...
How did they grow up?
There was, of course, some abuse there and psychological abuse. I mean, we call it feeding. Once one child's removed, they have a tendency to feed.
Do you love your mother?
Well, you know who I love, Larry? I love my mommy, who was the most beautiful creature on this planet. The best cook in the world, would do anything for her husband and her children. But the more she drank, and with the hatred from her abusive past, the more she became less of the mommy figure and more she became what I called the mother.
She passed away?
Both of them are deceased. But I had the chance to interview her before she passed away.
You interviewed her?
Yes, because I used to be in, in counseling, and I used to work in juvenile hall and, law enforcement.
How did she explain herself?
She didn't.
What did she say?
She basically said when she had stabbed me, that was an accident. And her mentality was, if I can forgive her for the most incredible atrocity, then I had to forgive her for all the smaller things. Which tells me, Larry, that the alcohol did not subdue her memory, and she knew exactly what she was doing at that time, which makes her, to me, more deadly.
Therefore, the puzzlement of all is why?
Why?
Why you?
Why,
not the others? Why you? And why would a mother harm a child?
She could have picked on any of my siblings, or brothers, rather. She just happened to pick on me.
But why?
There's no answer to that. I've talked to other law enforcement psychiatrists and so forth, and they call it target child selection. These perpetrators pick a child at random, but they do it at an age that which they won't tell. I probably was abused between the ages of 2.5 and 3.
How did you get from that to this?
I always knew as a child, if I can survive what I did without a lot of help, without, let's say, a college degree, without a Phil Jackson giving me play-by-play, if I can do that, then I can, it took me 6 months to join the Air Force. I didn't speak very well, I was uncoordinated, but I made a decision, if I can survive my first 12 years, I can do this. I had a strong work ethic. In junior high, I worked 40 hours a week, because I knew I can work when I was a child.
Who did you live with? Who was raising you?
Oh, I had several foster parents. And as you know, the social workers, police officers, and foster parents never get a fair shake. And here I am, have the opportunity, the privilege of seeing and being on your show and talking to you. And you're looking at 20 years or maybe 8 years of solid work from these people who just invested so much time and energy into me so my son can go to college. It's the old American dream. You come from less than humble beginnings. You adopt the mentality, if you can survive cancer, then you can survive the flu. I always knew in my heart, if I can survive this as a kid, I can do anything.
So you write books, you do motivational speaking on this topic, right?
On resilience. A lot of people with a narrow mind say, oh, he's about abuse. I'm always about resilience, responsibility with a sense of honor.
Can you teach it?
Can I teach it? I teach it to my son. That's the most important thing in my life, to give him strong values and a sense of his accord, of what I expect of him, and to be nice to his fellow man, and to be responsible for his actions.
Did you keep in touch with your brothers while you were in the foster homes?
I tried, but my mom, of course, had a lockdown.
How about your dad?
My dad, a little bit, and my dad, of course, was homeless before he passed away, which was a tragedy, and he died in my arms. Yeah, he was asked to retire from the fire department in San Francisco.
Did he get a pension?
I don't know if he did. He probably did. My mom probably got that. But I got to see my dad before he passed away, which was really tragic. He couldn't talk.
So what do you do now?
What do I do now? Let me see. Make sure my son stays in college.
And you do speaking?
Lots of speaking. I work a lot with the armed forces now with the war going on. I'm kind of a Robin Williams meets Dr. Phil.